Hello YouTube and everybody, I want to thank y'all for watching. I got another video for y'all. Y'all gonna love this one. This is an informational video, so not too much excitement, but the information that you will receive will be great, and it's really controversial and trending topic, so I hope y'all like it. So today's video is about the new 2020 Mustang Shelby GT500. As y'all can see from the title of this video, is a non-biased view of the Shelby GT500, and I'm going to explain to y'all why it's non-biased and why I named this video that, and what I believe the bias is in the auto world and us auto people think about this vehicle. Not necessarily me, but a lot of videos I've been seeing on YouTube and out there about this vehicle so far that I believe are biased. A lot of them are very biased. So the new Shelby GT500 came out a few months ago. Ford finally released it, and they finally released the power numbers. The power numbers are, the horsepower is 760 horsepower, and it has 625 pound-feet of torque. And that's really the main bias and really just the controversy within this whole topic, because you kind of get people in the car industry who love and gear towards certain manufacturing vehicles. So, for example, like this vehicle came out. Now you have people making videos that you get Dodge guys coming out saying, well, Hellcat has 700 da 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 da, and you can do this and that to it, and da 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 da. It's not going, the Mustang isn't that good. Then you got Chevy people coming out, Camaro and Corvette people, and they say, well, when you compare it to so and so and so, it doesn't do this, that, that, and this, that, that. And then you just have the auto industry as a whole, and even some Ford people that say this, and this is my number one bias that I do not like. They say that this vehicle does not have enough torque. Now, I don't know if y'all know what I know, but I know what I know. And 625 pound-feet of torque is a lot. And, you know, just to hear people say that 625 pound-feet is not enough is honestly, in my opinion, insane. Because if you think of currently and of days going past, 625 pound-feet of of torque, it's unheard of. So to now for people to get in their minds that 625 pound-feet of torque is not enough is almost crazy. And another rule of thumb that I learned myself, and I go by this when trying to explain to others who don't know as well: horsepower and torque both measure an engine's performance and output. But if someone I heard put it like this, put it best to me: horsepower is what keeps the car going, and torque is what gets the car going. So let's think about what I said. If horsepower keeps the car going and torque gets the car going, that really just means you need enough torque just to get those cars going and get you up to speed. And when you're at a certain point is when the horsepower is really all you're, not all, but what you're more dependent on. And people who know about cars and tuning know that it's great, because when you tune cars, especially if you're drag racing, they get the torque put in a certain way, the torque curve applied in a certain way, so you don't dump too much torque at once or not enough at once. Which goes to say, how could 625 pound-feet of torque be too much when a lot of people who even drag it don't want all that torque at once, or don't need all that torque all at once? So, you know, like I said, 760, that's way more than enough horsepower. But it's still, it's a great, I mean, that's a very high number. And 625 pound-feet of torque, they're saying that's not enough. Now, granted, one lens I can see this through is that how some manufacturers make vehicles that have very similar horsepower and torque numbers. Like, for example, with GM and Chevy, they have the LT2 and LT4 engines. Like the LT2 has when it first came out, it has 650 horsepower. 450 horsepower and 450 pound-feet of torque. That's the same. It's literally the same exact. And the same goes for the LT4, the supercharged 6.2. 650 horsepower, 650 torque. Now I can see in the sense of there that you could compare and say it's not enough, but however, although this engine creates and by the way, this has a 5.2 liter supercharged V8. Has 7. So here is my chart. Slide vehicles, facts and information, and you can see it now. And I just want y'all to see the initial chart first. You can pause it. I'll get closer so y'all can see it, and I will explain each segment of this chart and what I mean more in depth. So this is my chart that I created to prove my point that how there are a lot of biases when it comes to this new 2020 Mustang GT500, and how a lot of people have just put out of their mind the reality of the numbers. They're so consumed, I feel like people are so consumed with the numbers, they have put out of their mind what these numbers actually mean and how much power this actually is. So as I start, I want to say I apologize if you can't clearly see it. Once I go through it again, I will show each specific one clearly, but I'll go through the whole chart as a whole first and show you up close. So let's start at the top. This is the vehicle that we are actually speaking of, so I will start that. So this is the 2020 Mustang Shelby GT500. As I said, 760 horsepower, 625 pound-feet of torque. This is the latest and greatest Mustang. This is the most powerful Ford production vehicle ever. And then, like I said, supercharged 5.2 liter Voodoo V8. So these pretty much, for the most part, is almost from least power to most power, almost. And I'll just go through. I'll start this vehicle. I'll start the chart off with the Mercedes-Benz CLA. It's a 4-cylinder engine. It has 208 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque. This is a smaller family car with a smaller engine in it. I believe this 4-cylinder engine is turbo, but it's still not significantly powered. But I added this vehicle to start it off with that this is a basic little car, and it has 258 horsepower. Around the average, 258 pound-feet of torque, 208 horsepower, which is around the size of an average 4-cylinder smaller engine vehicle. However, a lot of people have experience driving these big vehicles. And when you're driving around, merging into traffic, going around town, it's enough power to get you through and get you where you need to go. The next vehicle is a Nissan Altima with the V6. 270 horsepower and 251 pound-feet of torque. And now this is a more average size sedan or family car. And also this has substantially more horsepower, almost the same amount of torque as the Mercedes. But this is just also to show you that many people have driven cars like Nissan Altimas, Chevy Impalas, Nissan Maximas, and the power feels pretty good. This is not anything substantial. It doesn't even meet that 450 pound-feet of threshold that I mentioned earlier. However, you can know for yourself, driving these vehicles, you can feel the power, and you can feel that you can get up and go when you need to go. This next vehicle is a first performance vehicle I've added to the list. This is a BMW M4 with a competition package, which adds a little more power and a little more suspension components and things like that for track purposes. It has 444 horsepower and 401 pound-feet of torque. And like I said, this is a high-performance European vehicle, sports car or track car. It's considered both. It's very similar to the Mustang in the fact that it does have a V6, however, it still has a front-mounted engine and rear-wheel drive, just like this Mustang and all other Mustangs have. The next vehicle I want to add is the new, I believe it started in 2017, not the older one, but the new Ford GT. It has 647 horsepower and 550 pound-feet of torque. This was the most powerful Ford vehicle available until the new Shelby GT500 was released. It set many records, and it has the highest Ford top speed vehicle currently at 215.6 miles per hour. So like I said, this car came out. This one does actually have a twin turbo V6. Like I said, it's very fast, very powerful. It doesn't have as much torque as this, but yet this car still came out. It doesn't even have as much horsepower, but this car still came out breaking records, breaking track records around the countries at various different tracks, and it also has the highest top speed of any current Ford production vehicle. Now, granted, the new Mustang hasn't been too many tests because it's not completely public yet. It is, but it's not for sale yet. However, as of now, a Ford GT has the highest top speed of Ford vehicles, 215.6 miles per hour. And also, this vehicle starts at around $500,000, which you can get a new SHELBY GT350 for about $77,000. So that means that I'm not sure if the price has been released or not, but with that being said, the GT500 will be around $85,000-ish. And it has more horsepower by a lot, and a lot more torque as well. The next vehicle is a Dodge Viper ACR. It has 645 horsepower and 600 pound-feet of torque. And this vehicle, before it entered its production in 2017, but as of now, currently, it still has the largest size engine. It has an 8.4 liter V10, and it's the 5th fastest vehicle then and now around the Nürburgring track. The Nürburgring track is a track in Europe, which is basically where a lot of manufacturers, people as well, but manufacturers go to test their vehicle. And if you can say I work for Mercedes-Benz, and if I took my brand new production vehicle to the Nürburgring and I set a very fast time on the Nürburgring, the auto world will know that this vehicle is credible for its speed and performance. So like I said, in 2017 and currently has the 5th fastest speed around the lap time around the Nürburgring, and that was 7 minutes and 6 seconds, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. It's either 7 minutes 6 seconds or 7 minutes and 1 second. I'm not quite sure. I will add that in the video as well. And it has a top speed of 177 miles per hour. Now I want to add this vehicle as well because it still has less torque than the new Mustang. And on top of that, it has significantly less power. Over 100 power. Oh my God, excuse me. The new Mustang has over 100 more horsepower than the Dodge Viper ACR. And yet, people say that this is not enough. The next vehicle I want to go to, well, these next 2 vehicles right here are added because despite what people have forgot and how powerful this vehicle is, this is still a muscle car. And it is one of the original American muscle cars which came out in the 60s, 70s time frame, 1960s, 1970s. However, in today's modern days, the 3 American muscle cars are the Mustang, the Camaro, and the Dodge Challenger. Those are muscle cars. So, granted, people call them sports cars nowadays, but these are actually considered true muscle cars if you look at the heritage behind them. So, I want to apologize in advance. The camera ran out of memory. However, I'm still going to continue the video. So, as I was saying, I'm going to start with the Camaro Z01. It has 650 horsepower, 650 pound-feet of torque. This is the second most performing Chevy vehicle right now. Or, excuse me, not vehicle, but engine. It has 650 like I stated. The most powerful engine is manufactured by Chevy is actually the LT5 and the C7 ZR1. This is an LT4. It's still supercharged 6.2 liter, and also it has this vehicle has a 7-minute and 16-second and 4/10 of a second lap time at the Nürburgring, and like I stated, it is one of the true muscle cars. The next vehicle is actually a 2-in-1, the same vehicle but different trims. It's the Dodge Challenger Hellcat. I will put the base model in here and also the red eye edition. The base is just the base Challenger Hellcat, and the red eye is a higher performing version of the same vehicle. So the base Challenger Hellcat has 717 horsepower and 650 pound-feet of torque, and the red eye has 797 horsepower and 707 pound-feet of torque. These are two of the most powerful vehicles in the world. They compete, the numbers wise, they still compete with some of the high-end hypercars, European cars like that. I also put these here because Dodge really started the current modern horsepower wars when they first released the Hellcat. Nobody really seen or had numbers back in 2015, 700 horsepower and 700-ish pound-feet of torque in any vehicle, especially a muscle car, American muscle car. So this vehicle really started the modern muscle war, the modern horsepower war, which can be a direct lineage, not necessarily lineage, but direct correlation to why you see a Mustang now with 760 horsepower and 765 pound-feet of torque. And also, between these two cars, they're very fast. And by the way, this Challenger, they both, the base and the red eye, have over 200 mile/hour top speed. But in comparison, these two vehicles do in fact have more torque than that. But the base Challenger and the base, well, of course there's only one, ZL1, not too much greater than what the torque is for the Mustang. So with that being said, if you ever drove one of these vehicles, you will know that when you have this much power, when you have that much power, it's just a lot. And I say that because it's so much, in fact, that it can become dangerous. Now, like I stated before, since the 60s, 70s, these cars have come an extraordinarily long way. However, they are not extremely cutting edge performance super sport hypercar. And they're not even as they are, but sometimes European vehicles put even more into their cars to make them even more safer and stable. So with that being said, you can have these horsepower and torque numbers, and you can press the gas even with traction control on. A lot of people know, granted, 700, well, until 2019, all Charger and Challenger Hellcats had 707 horsepower, but currently 717 in the Challenger because of the new hood scoops. But people know, even in Challengers with traction control on, you can be in third, fourth gear, press the gas, and you can still burn out, which goes to show when you first press the gas like that, what takes over? As I stated, torque, because torque makes the car go. So people say this is not enough. However, you can have this amount of number, just a little bit more than that number in this vehicle in third, fourth gear, and even in this vehicle and the Corvette Z06, which has the same exact engine and numbers, you can press the gas and lose control. And also when tracking or dragging, you would know that that is more than enough. And that can even become bad if your car is not tuned right or you haven't been practicing driving, because you can press the gas when you're trying to race, and instead of getting traction, you spin the tires. And last but not least, I do want to add the new 2020 C8 Corvette, because a lot of people have been comparing this car to this car, although technically this is considered a sports car. Corvettes are sports cars, not muscle cars. However, people have been comparing these cars, so I'm going to talk about the new 2020 C8 that will come out later on this year with the Z51 performance package. This has 495 horsepower and 470 pound-feet of torque. Now, granted, this is the brand new Corvette, 6.2 liter, upgraded actually, 6.2 liter engine. Is considered the LT2, not the LT1 that comes in the base Corvette now. Supposedly will have a top speed of 194 miles per hour. And also, this is the first mid-engine Corvette ever. Now, one thing about this vehicle is that this vehicle and this vehicle are the only two American mid-engine cars in the world currently. And mid-engine means that basically the engine is in the rear, the engine is in the trunk. So this is cutting edge performance. However, you can see here, these numbers are way, way, way less. However, still has almost a 200 mile per hour top speed. And they say that with this Z51 performance package, it will hit 0 to 60 miles per hour in less than 3 seconds. And that's with 470 pound-feet of torque, which goes to show, what does that say to you? What does that say to you? So, like I said, this is just a chart I constructed just to show how from anywhere from lower to normal amounts to increasingly large amounts, that when you have this much power and torque, 625 is enough. And that 625 pound-feet of torque will only complement this large 760 pound-feet of torque. Now, I'll show y'all the chart more in depth so y'all can really see. It's the Mustang 760 625 supercharged V8, newest Mustang coming out. The Mercedes, the Nissan, BMW, Ford GT, and everything like that. So, like I said, this is just a nice chart of current vehicles that you can purchase and that definitely will compete with the new Mustang. Now, granted, I believe 625 is enough. I really and truly do. Now, I just want y'all to know if y'all like the chart and what y'all think about the new 2020 Mustang GT500. And I want to know, do y'all honestly think that 625, and with comparison to 760 horsepower, if this is enough torque, if y'all think it's not enough, too much? And do you think there's room for improvement, things that Ford may or may not have done right or wrong? And I just want to thank y'all for watching again. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, comment, everything, because there's more videos coming, more action, more everything. Thank y'all.